As I was recording the last video, they just dropped the actual hero adjustment and patch notes, so let's go over those right now. Alright, so we've got another round of tweaks coming to Marvel Rivals. We're rolling out a brand new chain CC protection system to save you from endless stun locks. Bucky Barnes is trading in his crowd control for pure firepower, and Ultron is expanding his robotic wrath across the battlefield. Let's dive in and see how the meta is shifting. Chain CC protection. In Season 7.5, we introduced the Chain CC crowd control protection mechanic to ensure combat remains fluid and fair. Here are the specific rules. The trigger. If a hero suffers 5.5 seconds of total CC duration or is hit by 6 CC effects within a 7-second window, Chain CC protection activates. This instantly purges all active CC effects and grants the hero 30% tenacity for 3 seconds. It's every tank player's dream. Think about it when you're playing Hulk, Cap, Venom, and you jump in, Snowflake, Kick, Thing Slam, and then Mantis Sleep. It's like, okay. Oh, you're not. Oh. Oh, you're not. Oh. Oh, you're not. Oh. This is going to be monumental for that. So scaling tenacity. Tenacity proportionally reduces the duration of incoming CC. While active, every new CC applied to the hero increases their tenacity by 10% and extends the buff's duration by 0.5% or 0.5 seconds. Total immunity. If tenacity reaches 100%, the hero becomes completely CC immune until the buff expires. During this window, incoming CC will not grant further tenacity or extend the immunity duration. Okay. So it says that it's if you get hit by 6 in a row and within a 7-second, you instantly get 30% of that tenacity, and it's going to build over time. And then once you reach 100, you become completely CC immune until that expires. And it said it was what, for 3 seconds? Or you get 3 seconds of tenacity. So that'll pretty much just be enough time for you to get out without being CC'd again. So if you're on the Hulk and you get CC'd a couple times, say you have 100% tenacity and you're CC'd, okay, now you can just jump out instead of getting frozen again, getting slept again, getting grabbed again, is how it seems. So that's going to be really nice. Now, there are some cinematic exceptions. Certain animation-driven CC effects, such as Emma Frost, Carbon Crush, and Monster Hulk Worldbreaker, bypass this system. So the grab isn't affected by that. It's really going to be those pure CC abilities, maybe like Freeze, Sleep, maybe even the Moon Knight boot, but I'm not 100% certain about that one. Tenacity cannot reduce their durations. Normal, they be interrupted if Chain CC protection triggers. Any standard CC effects applied during the cinematic moves will be cleared, and Tenacity applied only after the cinematic ability concludes. Then the cooldown. The Chain CC protection system has a 5-second cooldown, which begins the moment the final tenacity effects expires, which is kind of similar to what I was saying up here. Which 5-second cooldown window is not bad because, there's not a situation where you're going to literally jump in and get CC'd 6 times, jump back out, and then jump right back in. Like, that's just not going to happen. So that 5-second window, that's very, very generous, and I like that. So Chain CC protection already S tier as a tank player. I love that. Let's see how it actually transitions into gameplay in the upcoming days. Next, we have the Vanguard changes. So we have Emma Frost, who is getting slightly lower her energy cost of the White Queen's ultimate to boost her suppression power on the battlefield. Reduce the energy cost of Psionic Seduction of ultimate ability from 3,400 to 3,100. Why? I guess Emma is struggling a little bit, but I think that's also just because she was so strong for so long. They made the change to her diamond form and put it into her ult. So if are they trying to shift the focus to her ult? And if that's the case, I don't know if that's really the route I want to see them go with Emma. I kind of liked how she was before, where her kit was the main focus, and her ult was kind of just like an afterthought. It was good to use in certain situations, but you didn't need to just farm it and generate and pop it as soon as you got it. It was more for like, oh, they're all stacked up, like, let's get them walking, try to find our pick, like you say they're Rocket or something. So I'm not really big on that, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Next, we have Tank Pull. We're slightly dialing back. Vanguard pulls burst damage and the survivability gains from his gun form ultimate. Gotta keep things fair, even for the Merc with the mouth. So reducing the Banhammer gun form ability, bonus health gained per hammer hit from 80 to 60, which is the standard, and then the upgraded, which is the 80 to 70. They're also reducing the Banhammer's damage dealt per hammer hit from 45 to 35, and they're reducing the bonus attack provided by Deadpool in your area for Vanguard to Dual Desert Eagles from 60 to 40%. I love Deadpool. I think he's really fun to play, but I think that these are some necessary changes. I don't use the banhammer. I don't think it's that great, but maybe that's just because I like to play with the swords more. But I definitely think, you know, the Deadpool in your area change is going to be massive, because like that was something that I felt like was just a little too much. And you're getting out all this big damage, and you're just blapping fools around like there's no tomorrow. Like, so he was definitely doing way too much damage. So I can understand where these are coming from. Why does the tank version seem to be better than the DPS version in dealing damage? You know, that was my biggest problem with it. So maybe this will be something good for Deadpool. I like this overall. Next, we got Penny Parker. We're slightly reducing Penny's base survivability, but enhancing the deployment range and protection of her cyberwebs, while also improving the hit experience of her primary attack. This aims to strengthen Penny in positional warfare. Now she can cover more ground with her cyberwebs, and flexibly using their support effects will help the team handle specific enemy dives with more ease. So they're nerfing her health by 50, dropping it from 7 to 650. They are increasing the maximum number of webs that can exist simultaneously from 3 to 4. Increased bonus health provided from the webs from 150 to 200. And they're increasing web cluster projectile speed from 120 second to 150 meters. So the cyber web cluster, that's her right click, I believe. So they're making that come out even faster, which you already can't react to it. So why does it need to be faster? She's getting more health from the cyber webs. She can have a fourth cyber web down, which is probably where that extra 50 comes from. But she is getting a knock to her base health. I'm not 100% certain how I feel about this one. I felt like Penny was really oppressive a season and a half ago, 2 seasons ago, whenever she was really strong. But I haven't been seeing as much of her, and when people want to ban her, it just doesn't feel worth it, because like I just don't feel like she brings enough value right now. So I could see where this would be good. Like the reduced base health sounds nice, but these extra changes, I just don't like the cyberweb cluster. I don't, if that's the right click, I don't think that was needed. The extra health, because she's getting that reduction, it just doesn't really make sense. I don't understand why give her less base health, but then give her an extra way to gain the health. I don't understand what the point of this really is. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know what, like as a Penny player, if this is going to be good or bad. I don't really see much of a difference, because Pennies are already playing in their nest and their webs. They'll, 1, 2, 3, put their nest down. They'll stand in it. They'll pop mines around it. And so losing that 50 health, but then you're getting another web cluster. What's the change? There really doesn't feel like a change, since you're always playing in your webs. Next, we have Elsa Bloodstone. We're refining, or we're reining. I speak English, but I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's supposed to say we're refining. We're refining in Elsa's mobility and her threat level against vanguards. The monster hunter needs to pace herself out there in the time stream. So increasing Helix advanced cooldown from 8 to 10 seconds, and cooldown at max passive stacks from 2 to 4 seconds. Reduce monster piercer percentage damage per pellet from 1.2 to 0.8. Reduce total percent damage when all 5 pellets hits from 6 to 4. Zuyang note. When all pellets hit, damage against a 275 hero drops from 81.5, based on their crazy analytics and their numbers that they have, to 76. Against a 700 HP hero, it drops from 107 to 93. Okay, so Elsa is a staple in the meta, and I don't think these are going to be too big of changes. They're just going to make it so she's not as oppressive in the neutral and not just shredding you like that. Because there would be times where Elsa would, say I'm walking down with the thing or something, and she would just, shift, bang, elephant gun, right click, bang, bang, and then maybe I step in a trap, get hit, dash in, bang, and like right there, 75% of my HP. Like she just did a lot of damage in neutral for really, really nothing. So I think that this is a good step in the right direction. I just kind of wish they would have been a little more aggressive with it, because the last time they touched her, it didn't really feel like they did anything. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe in the future they'll go another step forward with it. Next, we have Human Torch. We're tweaking the Human Torch's mobility mechanics to boost his burst mobility and enhance his gameplay pacing. At the same time, we want his movement to be a bit more predictable for his opponents. Flame on, but with a plan, rivals. Plasma body mechanic adjusted. Upon casting, he immediately dashes a short distance, 10 meters, in the direction of movement and enters the plasma body state for 4 seconds. This ability now has 2 charges with a 10-second recharge time per charge. There's a 4-second cooldown between consecutive casts. Okay. So just making Torch, feel a little more viable whenever he needs to escape and stuff, Not really touching his damage or anything, because I think his damage numbers are fine and everything. I think if you're playing Torch the right way, you're kind of like covering your corners and getting your damage out and then playing up with your team when you need to. Torch is pretty solid, but his biggest struggle was he would go and he would just like go like this. And it was like so slow. So I think that this will be nice to actually let him have a little bit more movement and get that kind of that second charge will be really nice for him as well. It'll actually allow him to get kind of in and out of fights more quickly, which will be really, really nice. Oh, big Bucky stuff. Oh my. Bucky had a bit too much CC. Yeah. You're telling me. Why does Bucky, it was like all of his stuff CC you? Literally, all of it. Like it did not make sense. All right. Bucky had a bit too much CC, which caused some frustration for enemies, especially when facing dive vanguards, duelists, or anchor vanguards. He felt more like a bodyguard than a lethal operative. We're reducing his CC capabilities and slightly buffing his frontal damage output to enrich his combat experience and make him feel true soldier is. Oh lord. Oh Guang, what are you doing here? Remove Trooper's fist grounded effects on enemies. Thank you. And they're also reducing the cooldown from 12 to 10 seconds. Increasing Bionic Hook's cooldown from 12 to 15. Big fan of that. Increase Roto Stern projectile damage from 75 to 80. Decrease spell field damage from 55 to 45. And then reduce Tainted Voltage single charge. Energize time from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Increase Kraken Impact culling threshold from 15 to 20%. And then reducing the base damage from 80 to 70%. So essentially what they're doing is they're making Bucky into like not being the CC monster that he was. They're just taking his neutral play and making it a little bit more rewarding for actually, hitting those buttons and everything in the right timings and getting that good damage out instead of just hooking somebody in CC, uppercut CC, like E CC. Like they're trying to make him feel a little bit more like an actual character and, like they said, not just a bodyguard, not somebody that's just standing there holding their Luna's hand and CCing whoever comes in. On to the strategist. Adam Warlock is getting a little cosmic boost to his healing capabilities. Increases cosmic cluster cooldown reduction provided to avatar lifestream per hit on an enemy from 0.5 seconds to 8 seconds. 0.08 seconds. So I don't play a lot of Adam Warlock, so this one I don't really understand what this even is doing. To increase cosmic cluster cooldown reduction, and that's like his fart cloud. Right? That's the fart cloud. Provided to life avatar stream. Well, I guess that would be the fart cloud. Per enemy hit from 0.08 or 0.05 to 0.08 seconds. So they're just making it a little bit come back just slightly quicker, it seems. Like the cooldown reduction. So he's going to be getting his healing more. Okay, I see now. So when he hits those abilities, he gets like that healing back. So now instead of it being 0.5 seconds for the meter, it's going to be 0.8 seconds. It's going to be slightly faster, but whenever you're hit, that's an extra, 0.15 seconds. So I mean, I can see where that's going to be beneficial. Next, we have Cloak and Dagger. We're slightly reducing the duration of Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, reducing Eternal Bond from 13 to 11 seconds. Wow, that's big, actually. I mean, because at that point, Cloak and Dagger had the longest lasting support ult in the game by I think it was 5 seconds. I think Luna's is only 8. Or 8 or 10. So leveling the playing field. Very, very level of the playing field with this one. I like that. We got Jeffy Boy. We're slightly reducing the pressure of our favorite land shark puts on the enemy backline. Good boy, Jeff, but let's give them a breather. Joyful splash damage fall off now starts at 15 meters, was 20, and damage drops to 60% of base at 30 meters, was 65% at 40 meters. Reduce its Jeff ultimate ability recovery time when falling to swallow any targets from 1 second to 0.4 seconds. When falling? Oh, when failing. Oh. So instead of being a whole second of him being like, I didn't get anybody, no. Now it's only going to be 0.4 seconds. So they're taking off some of his damage, but in exchange for that, it seems that they're making his get out time for his ultimate little less punishing. Which I don't agree with. I think if you mess up your ult, I think you should be punished for it. Like, maybe I don't know if 0.4 seconds is going to be enough, but I think Jeff was easy to punish when he would mess up his ult, but rightfully so, because that ult is very frustrating. Because you could be standing outside of it and still get pulled into it. Like, here's the end of the line, and you're like right here, and it'll say you're still in it. So like, I don't know. Let's talk about that, Guang Guang. I'm not worried about the punishment. Let's talk about what the circle. It's either with Namors too. Actually, let's talk about the circles, Guang Guang. Circles don't make sense. Next, we got Luna Snow, a small encore for Luna Snow and her base combat abilities, increase light and dark ice damage and healing from 22 to 24. So, just giving Luna a slight healing and damage buff. I don't know if she really needed it, but, hey, they got to keep their poster girl, in the meta and relevant, so. Next, we have Ultron. We're expanding the battlefield coverage of Ultron's ultimate. There are no strings on him. We've adjusted the logic of Ultron's ultimate. The 4 Ultron drones surrounding Ultron will no longer shoot directly at the crosshair target. Instead, they will bombard the area around the target. The bombardment area matches Ultron, but with slightly lower values with his adjustment. The coverage area of the range of Ultron is increased from a 3-meter radius to a 6-meter radius. After activating Rage of Ultron, you increase Ultron's encephalo rays damage from 8 to 18. Wow, that's a big change. Increase the drone's encephalo rays damage from 8 to 12. New spellfield damage falloff starts at 1.5 meters after encephalon rays explode, with a max falloff of 50% at 3 meters, and increases the healing effect on allies from 25 to 40. Damage and healing effects on targets within the original 3-meter radius remain roughly the same. So it was mostly all it was like all on his alt, really. I don't really see what the changes are going to be, aside from the damage numbers being changed and like the healing numbers being changed. But getting a bigger, wider area, I guess, would be the biggest thing for the top part here. I guess I could see why that would be beneficial. I just feel like Ultron was already like pretty solid, especially if you ran like triple support and stuff. Like, you could have Ultron just pumping out healing on your tank and maybe like someone on your backline. And then also just, banging out a lot of damage and stuff. So, but okay, you know what? Now that I sit here and kind of think about it more, instead of it being like, here's the Luna, for example, and it's Ultron Rage Supreme. Now it's going to kind of be more like wah, 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 and it's going to cover around instead of all just being right here. So if they're kind of grouped up, you might actually get more value, and it will allow your tank to kind of actually be in there, maybe your dive or something like that. I can see it. And last but not least, they removed the team up for Guardian of the Deep with Venom, Jeff, and Hela. And then they added the Lucky Lone team. So those are the new patch notes for the upcoming season here in a few days, season 7.5 of Marvel Rivals. I would love to hear what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. There are some that I agree with, some that I definitely don't agree with, but I would love to know what you guys think.
Ooh, this a hot shit, babe. You said that I've been hanging on to you. I don't play games cause I'm scared to lose. Baby, I tried to quit you. Now I feel like the smoke that you blew. Yeah, got my heart